Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
And welcome on this Wednesday morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Erin Hartley.
I'm Cerise Cole. There's meteorologist Jared Lansford, the senior chief meteorologist Rusty Lord. So if you haven't heard, it's a little on the chilly side this morning. We're actually talking wind chills this morning, but don't be alarmed.
Yes, it will warm up. Just the mornings can be a little cold in March, and that's what we have out there right now. 20s and 30s to start off, and we're going to see things warm up rapidly. So out there right now, 28 degrees feels like 23. A little bit of a northwest wind. It doesn't work out perfectly where you just subtract 5 miles per hour off the air temperature, but it does right there anyway. Temperatures upper 20s, lower 30s in much of the area. A couple of outliers, obviously, just to make it a little more difficult when trying to summarize things. But overall, to the north, you got 20s. To the south, you got 30s. You factor in the breeze, it's pretty darn light, but it does put wind chills in the 20s in several spots. So that's the feels like as you step out. Definitely take a coat with you, but you will not need it all day. It's up to you to determine just how warm it's going to be, how warm it's going to be when you are able to peel off a few layers and enjoy the afternoon sunshine. Winds are pretty light, and those are going to stay that way all day long, which is great news. Makes it pretty darn enjoyable. Just some high clouds moving through at times today. 35 at 9 o'clock. We march towards lunch. We're in the mid-50s already. Again, never perfectly sunny today, but still a pretty darn good day with what we'll call filtered sunshine. 67 degrees by 3 o'clock, and I think we can get quite a few spots right up near 70, maybe even more so than what you see here. A little cooler to the northeast, as it typically is in west central Iowa. By 7 o'clock, we're at 66 degrees and falling, and then by 10, we'll fall off to 52. Overnight tonight, another calm one, not quite as cold. 40s will gradually turn into 30s by early on Thursday morning as we settle back into the upper 30s. But there is the potential heading towards Friday for a little bit of severe weather. We've been watching this closely over the last couple of days. All signs have pointed to the bulk of it being east. That is still the case Friday afternoon after about 3 o'clock. But you can see here, there's a green shaded area. It's a 1 out of 5, just clipping some of our counties in Iowa. Audubon, Carroll, down through Atlantic, maybe east of Red Oak here. That's where, as storms move east into this environment, they could pick up a little steam and strengthen. So I don't think it's going to be a huge issue in our area. We'll just have some spotty showers or storms. That's something to watch after 3 o'clock on Friday. They're going to be quick movers. They'll be out of here quickly. The rest of the evening should just be pretty quiet with maybe some showers. But there you go, 71, 75, and 75 there over the course of the rest of the week. A very, very nice stretch of weather here to round out the week.
All right, but look, Saturday could be a more severe day.
That's the thing. We got a south wind on Friday bumping the temperature up. We got a north wind on Saturday that's going to shave about 30 degrees off that high temperature. And it's all because of this system here. You can see, and here's 9 o'clock Friday morning. This is what will develop by 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. This here is probably just some shower activity, maybe a few rumbles of thunder. This is probably the line that gets going, and you see how it's just on our eastern fringes, and it moves northeast and really starts to explode, and that's where the bigger storms are going to be. I-35 and east, as this line could arc out, and there could be some strong wind with that as it moves away from us. That's okay with me. Get it out of here. We don't need it. We'll take whatever rain we can get. There's 3 a.m. on Saturday. Some rain wrapping in on the backside of this. And right now, it looks like the bulk of the snow stays to our north. So we're sandwiched in between the severe threat to our east, the snow potential to our north. Hopefully we get a little rain. You will notice the temperature change. But by 9 a.m. Saturday, a drive up I-29 to Sioux City and Sioux Falls, that is going to be some wind-driven snow. So again, Saturday morning to the north, not going to be a lot of fun. You head all the way into the middle of next week. This is something we really need to pay attention to. First alert to some rain on Wednesday, changing to some snow possibly Wednesday night. So this system's still showing up on models for the middle of next week. That's some pretty good agreement right there. That we have to pay attention to middle of next week. So first alert to this system, not really causing us too many problems, just a big temperature change. 50 on Sunday, 72 on our St. Patrick's Day, and then 57 on Wednesday with that system that could start as rain, switch to snow. Not quite done with winter just yet, but that would be the last little bit of winter, at least by the calendar. And that always works, right?
It doesn't always
oh, no,
work.
okay. No.
40s,
Just
50s,
ignore the
60s,
44
70s.
on spring.
There you go.
Yeah.
A lot going on in that forecast.
I know, lots of different numbers.
Yeah, it keeps me busy.
All right, let's go to traffic right now. There's a crash on 84th you got to tell us about.
Yeah, and that's a big deal, not just because it's a crash on 84th, but because it's a crash on 84th. And what I mean by that is, we've got 72nd with the closure trying to get to I-80. So in addition to it being a busy road, you also have to watch this area because you have more traffic than usual with anyone who's using 72nd. Now, the good news is I've seen improvement for northbound over the last 10 to 15 minutes, and that's great news as we're starting to get more and more drivers on the roadway in this area. Now, southbound has started to delay, so that's something to pay attention to, but I'm especially concerned with northbound with a lot of people who try to make their way through that stretch. So we'll keep an eye on that and how things continue to evolve with that situation. This is another area that just got a report of somewhere in this area, Saddle Creek, between about Farnham and just north of Dodge. We may have a crash in this area. You can see some of the delays that are showing up southbound, maybe right near Farnham. I'm seeing some signs there of some delays, but watch this area for a crash that could be in that area as well. So getting some issues that are starting to develop on our roadways as we're starting to get more and more drivers out there. We're seeing some slowdowns that are showing up as you're making your way along Dodge, along some of those busy intersections there, right around 90th, 84th as well. And then as you're heading through Benson, things a little bit slow both directions as a result of that too. So that's what I'm watching in the early going. Of course, we've got all the construction that's causing issues. We get later here over the next hour, hour and a half, we'll have sun glare issues to contend with that sunshine. So plenty to watch as we get things up and running.
That sun glare really a problem yesterday.
Oh, it has you driving around going like this, and I wouldn't blame you for that. It's something else.
Is that going to be like that the next month or so? How long?
Usually it lasts about 2-3 weeks is the time frame where we see it at its worst, and that is tied with the time change. We skip things back. So as long as we've got the sunshine, be prepared for it.
Okay. Jared, thanks. Well, the 5 candidates vying for Omaha mayor faced off in a debate streaming live on our website, firstalert6.com. Brian Mastery served as moderator during the hour-long debate. The candidates addressed a number of topics, among them the Omaha streetcar.
I agree with State Auditor Mike Foley. It's the largest diversion of property tax dollars in the history of Nebraska. And it's going to be anything but free for the taxpayers of Omaha. I believe we're looking at 150-year-old technology we're going to spend $500 million on.
Calling it a disaster, the only thing that would be a true disaster would be to stop the streetcar right now and do Mike McDonald's plan. But let me tell you this, the streetcar cannot be stopped. So yard signs saying stop the streetcar, they're foolish right now because the streetcar has moved on along. There has been over 19 legal contracts approved by the City Council, and it cannot and should not be stopped.
The 3 other candidates explained how they would improve the streetcar.
They have to ensure that the project is finished and that it is done in a way that creates opportunity for economic development.
And I think we need to dream big. In the early 2000s, we had put up to vote that we should have a light rail system, the same time frame that Denver did theirs. And Denver has just tremendously exploded within their city and how they operate. And I feel like Omaha got left behind in that.
It's a done deal. We need to learn how to, from now on, invite our people to have an opinion to speak on what they think is better for Omaha, Nebraska.
Watch that full hour-long debate up on our website.
All right, we are here at the First Alert 6 Safety Desk. Maria Cade has some information on why young adults are being diagnosed with colorectal cancer, just at an alarming rate that we're seeing.
Yeah, it's really concerning, and there are some new numbers from the Colorectal Cancer Alliance, and they say over the past 30 years, cases of young onset colorectal cancer have increased by more than 50%, excuse me. So by 2030, it is expected to become the leading cancer-related cause of death for people ages 20 to 49. Experts say that it's still not clear why this is the case, but 3 main factors can increase a person's risk of developing colorectal cancer. This is not being active, having obesity, and eating a high diet in red or processed meats. Now, there are some signs that you should be aware of that are often reported in people who do have the cancer. That includes abdominal pain and iron deficiency anemia.
one of the important things to realize is that colorectal cancer is very treatable, and if caught early, it's in most cases curable.
Many cancers, the best way to prevent and detect colorectal cancer is screening. So experts recommend it for everybody who is at an average risk, and you do want to start around age 45.
You definitely want to. Listen, that colonoscopy isn't as bad as you think it is. The prep is probably the most interesting, difficult part, but after that, it's not so bad. So
well, and it's worth it to find it early.
So worth it. All right, switching gears a little bit to Girl Scout cookies and the legal troubles they're now facing surrounding some of their popular treats.
I know there is a new lawsuit that was filed in New York's federal court on Monday that we do want to tell you about. So in the lawsuit, they talk about a study by Moms Across America in GMO Science that claims 100% of the cookies tested in that study contain toxins. Now, it is important to note that this study's claims are based on a pretty small sample size, and the study was also not peer-reviewed or published in a scientific journal. But the lawsuit is asking for $5 million in damages for people who bought Girl Scout cookies across the country. It's also asking for the items to be written on the packaging. Now, the Girl Scouts did respond to these allegations. They made a blog post about this last month, and the organization says that the cookies are safe to eat, and they are also manufactured in line with all food safety regulations. So we'll have to wait and hear more on this.
Stay on top of this one. All right, Maria Cade from the Safety Desk, as always, thank you so much, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to NS 714 on this Wednesday. Really a lot to be excited about as far as the forecast this week. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, a lot of 70s on the way here the rest of the week. A lot to look forward to. Today and tomorrow might actually be the prime time days, kind of thread in the middle with the temperatures.
That's awesome.
Don't have wind to worry about, so let's dive into it here. You can actually be outside and enjoy it without the wind trying to knock you over. Right now, a little chilly, down to 28, wind chill of 23. Breeze is light though. Some feels like temperatures down in the 20s in the vast majority of the area. If you want to get the car washed, you got a good day for it. 71 for the high. Go for it in the forecast. No threat of any rain until sometime Friday afternoon. And there you go. The wind's very light today. You're hard pressed to find a gust up near 10 miles per hour. That'll be great. High clouds out there right now. Those likely will be the case much of the day. Never perfectly sunny today because of some high clouds moving through. We'll take a temperature near 30, warm it up to near 70 this afternoon for that afternoon high, giving us a very, very enjoyable day. Now, bigger picture, we're looking at Friday. We've been watching this a lot. First alert to storms that will start to develop in our area, but what likely happens is they'll kind of form in an arc here and then start to move northeast into this area that has a little better ingredients to it, and that is where the stronger storms are likely to be. So not exactly a huge threat in our area, but you can take a little wider view and see where this is going to be a pretty expansive line of severe storms. It could go north to south and just really move across a good portion of the country as we head into Friday. We're right near the start of it, and I just don't think we're going to have a ton of energy to work with by the time the storms fire here, and they'll race out of here pretty quickly. I think some parts of this wind that's going to be helping out. Look at Friday. Winds out of the south trying to get up near 40 miles per hour in several spots. And then overnight Friday night into Saturday, they switch and flip, and they'll be out of the northwest. And those could easily go 35 to 40 miles per hour. Some models even suggest maybe sneaking up near 50. So we'll be watching that for Saturday as those winds try to drive some colder air our direction. So the 10-day forecast shows how things are going to play out here. This is Friday. There's a couple of spotty storms right there trying to sneak on through. But notice how they grow in coverage as they move northeast. A lot of this would just be rain, I think, by 5 o'clock. And then there you go with that line that develops and moves and fans out across Iowa. That could be a wind producer, Des Moines and east, pretty easily. And then later on, Friday night into Saturday, a little bit of snow trying to sneak in our northern counties, just a little bit here, and it would melt off pretty quickly on Saturday, but enough there with the wind. We have to pay attention to that for our viewers. The northern counties, 44 for the high Saturday after going to 75 on Sunday. That'll be noticeable. Up to 50, though, on Sunday for the afternoon high. So back close to where we should be this time of year by Sunday afternoon. At least we can salvage a day out of this weekend.
You actually have a few days in that forecast that remind us winter is still here.
Yeah, something we got to watch for the middle of next week. A storm system still trying to hang out and move through the middle of the country after a 72-degree St. Patrick's Day. A nice day, St. Patrick's, people taking a 3-day weekend. Oof, that could be fun around the city. All right, 57 on Wednesday with rain trying to change to snow Wednesday night. That's the next system to watch here in the 10-day forecast. And you can see then it gives us 44 for the first official day of spring. So it doesn't really feel like it, but gives you an idea of what to expect as we look a little longer term. We got the system this weekend, mostly missing the snow. Pay attention to Wednesday of next week. A first alert on that one could still be enough to give us a little accumulation. We'll see if anything musters. And, you know, our latest snow has been in early May.
Oh, yeah. I remember
record.
Mother's Day snow.
It can happen.
Yeah, it can.
So
let's not talk about it. And then that'll happen, okay? Let's pretend it doesn't. Okay, in the meantime, let's also hope that there's no further crashes, but there's one to talk about on Saddle Creek right now.
Yeah, and you're going to see the graphic. It's got some outdated information because I literally just got new information as we were sitting here. So listen to my voice as we talk about this and don't pay attention to what you're seeing here. It's a little further south from where that icon is. It's right just to the south of Farnham, and that is the reason why you are looking at the delays that are showing up in this area right about here is where you're looking at this crash being in place. So again, not that, but this is where we have the crash that's in place. So watch for that right around Farnham, Saddle Creek, where we have this crash in place. You're going to be looking at delays that are happening as a result of that. So you're trying to access Dodge in this area. You want to make sure that you're prepared for some delays that could be in place. Elsewhere, I want to update 84th. This is looking much better than it did a little bit ago. We are seeing northbound traffic that continues to move in pretty good shape, and even the delays that we have southbound aren't looking all that bad around L. So that's an encouraging sign that I'm seeing in that area. Still a little slow right around that 42nd interchange, so consider that as you're heading in that direction. That's construction related. That schedule lasts through today. And then I'm watching a couple of areas downtown as well. We've got construction that's happening near 14th and 15th on Dodge that starts up today. I had already seen some signs of delays that had been in place trying to get toward that area. That's going to be there for the next 2 weeks. You've also got Douglas with some work that's happening with lane restrictions on the left-hand side around 28th or so. So a lot of work happening out there. Be prepared for that.
For sure. All right, Jared, thank you. Well, today's a special day here at First Alert 6. It marks the final day for longtime First Alert 6 anchor John Knicely.
It's because of all of John's work that Mayor Jean Stothard has declared today, March 12th, 2025, as John Knicely Day. This is the official proclamation. Stothard really puts John's career into perspective. Now, this proclamation talks about how he's covered 6 presidencies, 6 Nebraska governors, 6 Omaha mayors, a pandemic, 9/11, war, numerous weather events, and many ups and downs of Husker and Blue Jay athletics. She also talks about him being a good mentor, a good sport, and a supportive co-anchor, of course, which many people for decades could agree with.
Oh my gosh, yes. So we sure hope you will join us throughout the day as we all celebrate John, and deservingly so. We're going to have a few surprises for him too along the way.
That's right. His last newscast is tonight at 10 o'clock. In the meantime, you can go to our website and hear John talk about some of his favorite stories and other memories. You can also read the mayor's proclamation and watch well wishes from some familiar faces. It's all over at firstalert6.com. It's a fun day, but But it's also sad.
I'm getting sad as you were talking about it. I was like, because it just is not going to be the same without his presence.
Yeah.
And he has a presence, right? Like he walks into a room and he does. So we are truly going to miss him. But we're not done talking about him.
No.
Right? All right. Well, money can't buy you class, that's for sure. But it can buy you a ticket to the Countess Cabaret.
More on Countess Luann's big Omaha debut when we come back. All right.
Welcome back, everybody. We're just talking.
We didn't know.
We like each other. Pop culture meets comedy meets a fashion show. So that's what Countess Luann from Bravo's Real Housewives franchise says you can expect if you go to her new cabaret.
Yeah, she's bringing her iconic music to Nebraska for the first time tomorrow. Now, Luann, she was on the first 13 seasons of The Real Housewives of New York City.
There's been 13 seasons?
Oh, yeah.
There have been so many more.
my
That was
word.
just the first 13.
Oh.
There, I think maybe over 20
And there's Beverly
now.
Hills, there's
So many
Orange
spin-offs.
County, Salt Lake City, New Jersey.
Atlanta.
We're educating them. She says, yep, don't forget Atlanta. She says fans of the show won't be disappointed. She's going to show clips of some of the series' most memorable moments. She says it didn't show the full story all of the time on air, so she'll be sharing some behind-the-scenes secrets. Of course, she'll be singing songs many of her fans know and love too. Luann says her cabaret performances are a personal story.
And so I talked a little bit about love gained, love lost, and how we do things for love, which is we move, we change our lives, whether for love or because you're heartbroken. And, you know, and that it takes us places. I mean, it took me to Europe, basically. So I tell stories like that. Why did I move here? Well, this is the story. So it's really storytelling, cabaret, pop culture, and comedy, because you just have to laugh at yourself. You know, we all, you know, fall down. It's about how you get back up.
That's true.
Luann will be performing at the Astro Theater in La Vista. Show starts at 8. You can get tickets by visiting CountessLuann.com. You did that interview? That's actually really cool.
Yes, I got to speak with Luann yesterday. She was a hoot. I mean, just like she is on TV, she has that same energy, that same charm as she is in real life, too.
Great energy. That's pretty cool. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in today's show. You can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
Remember John Knicely's last day. Please tune in to our later newscast. It's going to be a great moment. All right, we'll see you later.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley. Updates on traffic this morning. We'll go to Jarrett, where he has an update on Saddle Creek.
Yeah, we had a crash that was in place right around Farnham. It's a photographer that we have on the scene says this has been moved into one of the parking lots here. So as you're heading your way in either direction through this stretch, you should be looking at things moving along better than they were not too long ago. So good news as far as that goes. 84th, we're picking up the traffic. We had a crash here earlier as well. That one appears to clear. here. But you're seeing, even without it, how things are starting to stack up with the amount of traffic that's not using 72nd and is using 84th. So as you likely have been dealing with for the last few weeks, make sure you're ready for some delays as you're trying to get to I-80. Rusty.
A much quieter scene over here in weather. We have temperatures 20s and 30s as we're starting off the day. A few wind chills that are down in the 20s, but the wind's very light. Beautiful sunrise. Sorry the graphic got in the way there. That is gorgeous out there to start the day. We'll take 30s and 20s this morning, quickly put them into the 50s by noon, and a high temperature right up near 60 degrees today. And I think the best part of this is we'll be able to enjoy the day outside without the wind ruining it. Very, very light winds all day today. At worst, some of the gusts get up near 10 miles per hour. That's great news. 75, another great one on Thursday. We'll go 75 on Friday with the possibility of a few storms after 3 p.m. on Friday. A little short-lived window before the storms race east and out of our area. Aaron?
Well, longtime First Alert 6 anchor John Knicely will be signing off the news desk for the final time today, capping over 50 years in broadcasting. He spent 40 of those years right here with us. Some of you might remember he actually started as a sportscaster before making the jump over to the news. His final broadcast is tonight at 10 o'clock. He will be missed.
So greatly. Be sure and join us all day for special coverage. It is 7:28. We are back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.